What's up, guys? This is Dr. Loadout, and this is everything I'm bringing to Operation Hammer Forged. Alright, so before we go ahead and get into it, let's talk about RealSim LLC, the event company that's putting on this event. Alright guys, so here's the website for RealSim LLC. I just wanted to take a few minutes to walk you through who RealSim is for those who are unfamiliar, right? Because they are a newer event company, so you're probably unfamiliar with them if I had to take a wild guess. Or maybe not, I don't know. But let's see, RealSim LLC is a military simulation and training event company based out of the USA. Their goal is to provide a competitive, realistic war and combat simulator. They achieve this goal by recruiting knowledgeable staff, creating dynamic and realistic operations, and providing the use of military assets and props. So they got another page here, simulation info, kind of gives you a better idea of what to expect. So it's 40 hours straight, right? It's going to require you guys to sleep in the field, bring enough food and water, bring ammo. As of right now, they do not issue ammo. And yeah, conduct operations from Friday evening to Sunday afternoon. Sounds pretty similar to, right, Milsim West. Centurion Combat Simulations also does 40-hour events where you got to sustain yourself in the field the whole time. But things that they do that are different, things that RealSim does differently, is how they utilize role players and cadre. So what I'm actually really excited about is they let the customer take on some of these specialty and leadership roles, right? When you go to Milsim West, you usually have cadre assigned to your squad, and they're going to be the guys that are leading you throughout the event to do all the operation stuff. At RealSim, you can sign up to be a squad leader, be on a sniper team, be a platoon medic, be an EOD. Things that aren't even listed here are you can be an RTO, you can be a JTAC. These are some experiences that I've never seen available from any other event company, and I'm pretty excited about that. So for Operation Hammer Forged, I'm actually going to be the RTO/JTAC for our team. I'm going as the Rosa faction, which is the multicam, right, NATO basically faction. They have the SKN nationalists who wear M81 or OD green, and then you got Rosa, who is multicam. I guess they have some civilian role players at times too. I haven't learned a lot about those, but and yeah, you can rent night vision. This is gonna be at Camp Atterbury Training Center in Indiana, and yeah, so kind of like I was saying, I'm gonna be the RTO/JTAC. So I'm gonna be the platoon level RTO, right, doing medevac 9-line requests, just calling up basic reports up to higher. But as the JTAC, I'll be doing some call for fire, some CAS, close air support reports, and I'm going to be able to call in airstrikes against the other team. So that's pretty freaking sweet. And then just to give you a better idea of what I'm packing and why, here's the weather report. So for Friday, high of 69, nice. Saturday, high of 72. Sunday, high of 71. Lows are going to be in the mid to high 40s. So it'll get a little chilly, but as far as I'm concerned, this is perfect weather. Chance of rain won't ever go above 5%, so I probably won't even need rain gear at all. But yeah, so that being said, let's talk about what I'm actually bringing to this event. I'm going to do this in 3 chapters. So chapter 1 is going to be our mission essentials, which is basically line 1. If you're not familiar with the the 3 lines of gear methodology. So line 1 is going to be mission essentials. That's going to be, right, chest rig, so ammo, water, and the actual airsoft gun. Line 2 is going to be short-term sustainment. So now we're talking like snacks, extra water, maybe some cold weather, maybe your rain layer gear. And then line 3 is going to be long-term sustainment. That's basically everything we have in the rucksack. So let's go ahead and get started with line 1, mission essentials. First off, I'm wearing a field top OCP pattern. And the reason why I wanted to use a field top is because, A, it's not going to get that hot. I figured the field top will be a better choice. It'll keep me warmer in the colder parts of the day. But also, because this is a heavily woodland type of environment, I want to make sure that I had some ripstop on me to protect me when I'm going through brush and maybe run into some thorns on accident. Bugs can't bite through this fabric as well, so if there's any sort of black flies, for example, they won't be able to bite me through this, so that'll be nice. As far as what I have in the pockets, all I have is just a standard tourniquet. This is a Milsim West style tourniquet, so it's not a real one, but if you didn't know, the medic system for RealSim is you get hit once, they put a tourniquet on you. You get hit twice, you get another tourniquet put on you, and then when you get hit a third time, that's when you go back to the CCP, or the Casualty Collection Point. So I don't really need anything else in the pockets. I've got the rest of that in my chest rig, so I'll show you that here coming up. But let's talk about the pants next. These are Emerson Gear Yellow Label Cry G3 knockoff pants. I really like these because they are made out of real multicam fabric. So if you didn't know, Emerson Gear's Yellow Label is the more premium style, I guess, if you want to call it that, of their clothing. So if you get the standard Emerson Gear pants, they are not going to be real multicam. They'll be a knockoff style. But when you get the Yellow Label, previously called the Blue Label if you didn't know, but Blue Label no longer exists. Now it's Yellow Label as the premium style. And when you get that, you get real Cry multicam fabric. So these are ripstop. They have the tweed material, stretch panels, both on your butt, and also on right above the knee pad area. I'm not actually bringing knee pads. I don't really like them. Yell at me all you want. I just don't really find it all that necessary. I'll give you an urban environment, but for a woodland environment, I don't really need them. I'm fine with just making sure that I kneel on grass instead of kneeling on rocks or something like that. So those are my pants. Let's talk about the boots. I am bringing Gore-Tex boots. These are Salomon Quest 4D Gore-Tex boots. And I'm going with waterproof because, like I said, it's going to get cold at night, and that's when the ground gets really moist and wet. So I want to make sure that I had waterproof boots to keep my feet dry when I'm going through that. Also, there is a creek that runs right down the middle of the AO, so I'm not planning on doing any creek crossing, but I guess you never know. So I'd rather have Gore-Tex boots just in case, and I'm playing it safe on that one. Let's see, I got a belt. This is just a Amazon Chinese belt. It has a knockoff Cobra buckle, but I really like this one because not only is it really thin, as you can see, it's stretchy. So flexes with you when you're moving and when you're kneeling over and sitting down and all that. I'm not wearing a battle belt or a war belt for this event. I want to keep the weight off my hips as much as possible because I plan on doing lots of movements. So yeah, just wearing this belt. Not pictured. Socks. I'm bringing 6 pairs of socks. I have a few pairs of wool socks, and I have a few pairs of more synthetic / cotton blend socks. I know people really prefer wool socks, but I'm trying something new. All my wool socks are the Darn Tough Cool Max, but they're the midweight socks, so not the lightweight socks. So I decided to try some of the other brands. I'm trying a brand called Socks for Heroes. Found them on Amazon, but they're made in USA. Every pair of socks you buy, they donate another pair to an actual service member, so I thought that was pretty cool. But on top of that, these are boot socks made for rucking specifically. So they have padding on the bottom, but then they have some breathable panels on the top of the foot. So hopefully that'll keep me from overheating. I wore midweight socks at the last event I went to, and it was like 80 degrees. That definitely didn't do well for me. So I'm bringing some of those midweight socks for the evenings and the nighttime when it cools down. But during the day, I'm going to try out those Socks for Hero socks. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get into the chest rig. Where did I put it? Right here. This is a Mayflower Velocity Systems hybrid chest rig, it's called. The reason it's the hybrid chest rig is because it actually does have MOLLE panels on the left and right side 3 columns on both the left and the right side. So you can go ahead and put your own patches off to the, sorry, patches, your own pouches off to the side here. So I'll start on this side, why not? Right here I've got a Leatherman multi-tool. Highly recommend a multi-tool, of course. You never know when you need to be able to cut stuff. Actually, one thing that I really like about this one, this is the Leatherman Signal. I'll show you real quick. Not only does it have your standard like pliers and knife and a flathead and a screwdriver, flathead and a Phillips style screwdriver, it also has an actual saw. I actually still have some some wood shavings in there because I use this to cut branches. It's really nice when you're choosing where you want to put your shelter at night. If there's like some extra branches or weeds or I don't know, anything that you don't really want to have in your space, you can cut that away. And also what I've done in the past is once you set up your poncho shelter, if you want to further camouflage it, you can cut some branches of like some nearby foliage and then lay those over your tarp shelter or your poncho shelter. I did a Ranger Diamond last time, so I actually cut some branches and then laid them against the Ranger Diamond, and that helped conceal it. And it turned out it wasn't necessary because none of the bad guys from the other team actually ended up wandering over to our patrol base at night. But hey, if they would have, I don't think they would have found me. That would have been pretty cool. Next up, we got the radio. I'm going to be using this guy a lot for my RTO role when I'm calling in reports to hire. This is a Baofeng UV9R Pro. I went with this one because it's an 8-watt radio. It's got a really big battery and it's waterproof. So don't have to worry about this thing breaking on me or being underpowered for the event. And as you can see here, it's got a flip down pouch. This pouch is by Bees Combat Systems. I really like this because, right, how many times have you had to mess with your radio in the middle of an event and you got to ask somebody to take it out of your pouch? I know my teammates love to do that. They're like, hey, can you pull my radio out of my pouch and adjust my volume knob or anything? So on top of having your radio on the front of your load-bearing equipment, I really like having this drop-down ability so I can quickly access the keypad and change whatever I need to without having to ask for help. Let's keep talking about the radio, I guess. So for the push-to-talk, I'm using a Disco 32 low impedance U94. Pretty sure it's amplified. That's my push-to-talk. I have my downlead cable that plugs into there from my headset. And then I also have a Disco 32 cable. Oh gosh, what's this thing called? An antenna relocation cable, that's what it's called. I use that because my antenna starts right here. I like this because if I need to, when I drop this down, I'm not pulling on the antenna when I drop my radio down to mess with it. So I just do that to protect the antenna. This is one of those wearable antennas if you've never seen that. So it starts right here and then this coyote color goes up and around the H harness and it comes down this strap. And then I have it, I'll flip this around. I just kind of have it routed up through this magazine pouch, elastic. So if I need to, I can pull this out and boom. Now I can reach this over my head and get some extra range out of my transmissions or receiving for that matter, if I need to. Since I'm going to be an RTO, I thought that'd be pretty handy to make sure no matter what's going on, I can reach my guys. But at the same time, I hate having an antenna that's like poking me up here. I'm sure you've experienced that, right? When you have a long whip antenna or one of those Avery folding antennas, as soon as you have it right next to you, if you turn your head or if you, I don't know, reach over or shrug your shoulder, it starts hitting you right in the neck or hitting you on the right side of the face. So I like these wearable antennas because it keeps everything way more low profile. Okay, continuing from this side, I got 4 magazines right here. These are Arcturus M4 mid-cap magazines. These are they're metal Stanag style magazines. I really like these. Shout out to the Gun Gamers. They did a review on these on their YouTube channel and they looked pretty legitimate, so I decided to get them and I can confirm they are pretty legitimate. Okay, so in these 3 little GP pouches that are sewn onto the front of this chest rig, right here I got some snacks. This is part of my, I guess you can call this line 2, but I don't know. I consider it line 1. You always need to have snacks on you, so I got a Cliff Bar, I got some Skittles, and I got some Lifesaver gummies. Always good to have a little bit of, snacks on you. Also down here I have a mouth guard. This is my face protection. I'm not wearing any like mesh face protection for this event because, like I said, it's going to be in the woods, and we're not going to be taking contact nearly as often as if we went to like an open play or a CQB heavy type of field. In this next pouch, I've got a compass. This is a Sunto MC2 compass. It's a base plate style compass. And yeah, I'm going to be using this because I'm sure I'll have to do some land navigation, but I'll also have to plot points if I want to call in an accurate airstrike as the JTAC. So I want to make sure I had a compass on me to do any sort of map work and land navigation stuff. And then in here, I just have a battery-powered chem light. This is by a company called Laser Bright, and as you can see, we've got a red ring and a green ring. This just tells you which color it's going to glow. So there's red, and then just twist the turn back off, twist this side, and now we got, there's flashing green, there's low green, and high power green. Yeah, so each color, whichever one you twist, there's 3 modes. You have low, you have high, and then you have flashing, or strobe. And then I just have a standard M4 pouch. This is just I think this is Condor, Airsoft. Nothing too special. Last but not least, here's my second tourniquet. I just have it attached to this last molly column using, I think this is the Blue Force Gear tourniquet holder. You can kind of see it just slides right in there. I can pull it out quickly, and then I just Velcro it back down, and now it's staying put. Last but not least, we have the map pouch built in to the chest rig. In here, I've got a Right in the Rain pad and pen. I also have this little cheat sheet card by Tools. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. It's either Tools or Tools, but spelled with TH in the front. On one side, it's got a 9-line, I don't know if you can see that, 9-line medevac report. On the back side, it's got a call for fire report. So a little cheat sheet to help me with what I'm guessing will be the 2 most popular reports that I have to call up on the radio. Velcro that back in. I just realized I forgot, also in the bottom of this front GP pouch, not only do I have the compass, but I also have a little tools kit. I have various Allen wrenches, but my favorite thing is this little mini AR wrench. This is by E&L. Yeah, it's got the AR-15 castle nut wrench right there. So I love this thing. By far, the most common thing to come loose on my airsoft guns is the castle nut on the buffer tube. And so I can just crank this down. It's easy access in case it starts to come loose on me. As far as some basic mods I did to this chest rig, I added some padding. So these are HSGI closed foam pads. I think they're called like SF pads. Because they're closed foam, you can cut them to shape with scissors. So that's exactly what I did. These were a little bit wider when I got them, so I cut them to be the exact width of the shoulder straps on this chest rig. And then I used some Howie's camo hockey tape to tape them. I think I also, I added some sticky 2-part Velcro right there as well, right in the middle. So between the sticky Velcro and some hockey tape, I was able to make these into some chest rig shoulder pads, because I'll tell you what, this chest rig, even though it's pretty low profile, it gets sore on your traps after 40 hours. So talking from experience, I went ahead and put some pads on here just to make my life a little bit better. All right, next up, let's talk about the helmet. This is a knockoff OpsCore bump helmet by FMA. Went ahead and got this on Amazon. I used to have an older style FMA bump helmet. Same thing, it was an OpsCore replica, but I'll tell you what, I don't know, just the sizing and the pads it came with sucked. So I recently upgraded to this newer version that FMA put out, and it's way better. I love this so much more. It fits my head perfectly, and the pads are way nicer. Even the dial to tighten this to your head is way better and doesn't come loose. As far as what's on the helmet, I do have an Agilite helmet cover underneath this scrim. And the reason why I really like this helmet cover specifically is because the battery compartment is big enough to fit this big old power bank. So check this guy out. This is by a company called Elecom by Nest Out. No, I'm sorry. The company is Elecom. The model is the Nest Out. And specifically, this model is the 15,000 milliamp outdoor battery. So it's IP67 rated. It's shockproof. It is just insanely durable. So I never have to worry about this thing breaking on me while I'm out in the field. Yeah, the reason I like this Agilite cover is because it actually fits this battery. It does have some elastic, which lets it expand when you shove things like this in there. Yeah, so also under the scrim, I routed this USB-C cable with a little 90-degree adapter so it sits more flush against the battery pack when I have it plugged in. And that goes all the way to the front where I have my GoPro housing. Yeah, so this scrim is by Bees Combat Systems. I think it's called the Predator Ghillie Scrim. It's got these extra things that you tie on and you can place them wherever you want. Just helps break up the outline of your head that much better. And I can confirm the last event I went to, I wore this scrim and I also painted my face a little bit. And I did not get shot at very much because the other team flat out couldn't see me. Even at airsoft ranges, if I was behind a tree kind of crouched down, they could not find me. So that was pretty sweet. Can confirm this thing works really well. I also have a little light on the top of the helmet as well. This is a Nightcore branded little helmet light. Got this on Amazon. Same thing with the helmet cover, by the way, the knockoff Agilite helmet cover that came from Amazon. This light came from Amazon. This USB cable came from Amazon. But this thing's really cool. You can change which color it lights up. So the dead light color for RealSim events is blue. So I have this right now set to where if I turn it on, it's blue. I can also make it turn green, red, or it even has an infrared mode. The GoPro helmet mount is the Brain Exploder one. I think this is the older version, but it still works well. I really like it. It's I can confirm I get a great POV with this mount. The actual GoPro case is, I don't know, I forget where I got it, but it's some sort of aluminum case. It was bright and shiny when I got it, so I painted it with some Coyote Tan spray paint. And I also put a big, thick Lexan sheet on the front of it, just to protect the actual camera from BB hits. I even put some Lexan over the camera lens itself, just to protect the lens from getting shot out too. I know that the lenses on the GoPros can be swapped out, but still, like once it gets hit once, after that, the only thing protecting it is there's nothing protecting it after that. So I just wanted some extra insurance there. I do have a light on the side of the helmet. This is a Streamlight Compact 2. This can be clipped on and off, just like that. Right here I have a little mount that you can just kind of clips onto the side of your helmet's brim. And yeah, this thing is pretty sweet. So it has an IR mode. You might be able to see that. I don't know. Let me brighten it up. It has an IR mode. It's got red, white, and blue. So same thing. This can be a dead light for the front of my helmet, but I can also use this as just a standard task light, including an infrared mode, which is pretty sweet. Last but not least, my headset system is the Peltor Compact 5. And yeah, it's a single down lead model, so it can clip into that Disco 32 PTT I showed you. It's got the microphone. I'm not sure what else to really say about it. You're probably familiar with Comtacs, but if you're not, this is electronic hearing protection. So not only can it work with my radio, and I can talk to my guys through it, but this thing clamps to your head, like so. Each one clamps. And when it does that, it creates a nice sound barrier, and it protects your hearing. but it also has the amplified mode. So if I turn this thing on, it has microphones inside of it, and I don't know. I'm sure you know how electronic hearing protection works, but yeah, long story short, it protects your hearing. You can still hear even when it's clamped on because it has internal microphones, and you can connect it to your radio. Yeah, so that's the helmet. Underneath the helmet, I'll be wearing a sweatband, and I love this thing. It really helps to prevent fogging to have a sweatband, right? So if you put this thing on, it'll wick moisture away from your forehead, and it even has a little rubber like skinny piece right there to catch the sweat and wick it off to the sides of your head instead of letting it run down your forehead. So if you are a sweaty guy and your eye pro fogs up on you, this is a great way to help prevent that a little bit more. For my actual eye pro, I'm just using some Oakley M frames. I love these things. I've got the clear lens on there right now. I also have a little microfiber cloth in here, and I have this Magpul general purpose case, which fits the eye pro perfectly. I can throw this in my backpack and not worry about them getting crushed. And then I actually have a spare set that I'll be putting in here as well, so that way I've always got a backup pair in case something happens to the Oakleys. All right, let's talk about my assault pack next. I'm just going to cover the line 1 stuff that's in here, so the mission essentials. First of all, I have a 3-liter Camelback in here. All right, you can kind of see I got the hose. This is a Source Tactical hydration pouch. It's the 3-liter. It actually came with this assault pack. This assault pack, by the way, is the Eagle Industries Yote, which is basically their way of reviving the infamous beaver tail assault pack. So yeah, if you get one of these from an authorized dealer, it will come with a Source Tactical 3-liter bladder ready to go inside. It also comes with the drinking hose as well. And then also I'm considering part of my mission essentials is a map. So this is a Battleboard Scout. It's the large size. In here, not only do I have the map, I have some extras of those little tools or fools credit card style cheat sheets for the 9-line medevac report and also the call for fire report. I got extras because, A, in case I lose one, I have a backup, but also I thought I could hand them off to some of the other guys on my team in case they might find these useful to have on them as well. I have some other reference cards. So I have a larger 9-line reference card, a call for fire flow chart, a cast brief, 9-line cast brief, spot report. But I also have in here written down the frequencies we'll be using, just so I don't have to have those memorized. Like in case I forget, I've got those. I also have our challenge/pass phrases written down. That way I have those ready to go. Part of the reason why I got this Battleboard Scout pouch is because, as you can see, I can see my map through this. So I already have the map inside of a Ziploc, so I can have permanent stuff on the Ziploc inside here, and then I can mark this up on the outside and quickly erase it. I got all the pens to mark this up, including the eraser pen. So that'll be fun. I've never done that kind of stuff before. Looking forward to trying out and learning some brand new skills at this event. All right, last but not least, I've got my night vision. I'm renting night vision through Ultimate Night Vision, the official rental company for RealSim. So in here, I've got an L3 Harris PVS-14. So it's got the L3 Harris intensifier tube in here. I tested this out last night when it was dark, and man, is this thing freaking cool. I've never used real night vision before. The rental also came with the J-arm and the G24 dovetail mount. So it came with everything you need to mount this thing to your helmet. All right, last but not least, for part of my line 1 mission essentials is my actual airsoft gun itself. This is an M4A1 by VFC. It's an Avalon system. And I've been using this thing for a couple of years now. Absolutely love it. Decided to get this model, same thing actually, after watching some Gun Gamers videos. I'm one of those players that doesn't necessarily prioritize top-of-the-line performance. I care more about top-of-the-line durability. I want something that's going to last me and I can just enjoy my time with it. Only maintenance I've had to do is tighten up the outer barrel castle nut, because this thing started to come loose and spin on its own. So this thing actually comes apart just like a real AR-15, which I think is pretty sweet. As far as furniture, I've got a Sig Romeo 7. It says right there, Sig Romeo 7. This is also known as the Cope M4S instead of the real Aimpoint Comp M4S. I know a lot of people don't like using real optics for airsoft, but I do. Call me crazy. I have more fun with it when I know I'm using something that's legitimate. To protect my investment, I did put some Lexan on here. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, there's a piece of Lexan that I kind of glued in there. And I did that to obviously make sure that if any BBs hit the actual optic, it's not going to break it. So want to make sure I protected my investment. Battlefield 6 comes out in like 2 more days. And I played the beta a crap ton. So I built this basically to be a replica of the build of M4 that I was using in the beta. Using this optic for 2 reasons. Number one, because it looks the part for Battlefield 6, but also because this optic does have a night vision compatible brightness setting on the red dot itself. So same thing when I was messing around in the dark with that night vision rental, can confirm I was able to look through this passively and I could see the dot and it wasn't blooming too badly. It was pretty nice and crisp with the night vision setting. So I'm excited to use that at the event. I also have a knockoff AliExpress Surefire M600 clone. This is the vampire version, so it has a white light mode, and a IR light mode, and it works great. Same thing, tested that out last night with the night vision, and it works perfectly. The sling is a Blue Force Gear Blue Force Gear 1-point padded sling, and it's got a quick disconnect right here. Really like that. So if I want to put this thing down, I can do so without having to actually remove my sling. I prefer running my sling over my chest rig, but under my assault pack. That way, if I need to get into anything that's in my assault pack quickly, I can do that without actually having to take my gun off my body. So I like that. Also, this is nice where I can quickly disconnect if I want to swap shoulders, if we're like clearing rooms or something like that. You can get some really nice shoulder swaps in there, you know. And then, yeah, here's another one of those Arcturus M4A1 mags. Last but not least, I have a, oh gosh, what's this called? The Tango Down vertical foregrip. I got this because, well, because I like the foregrip style. It's the same foregrip as what I was using in the Battlefield 6 beta, and it has the slot cut out to put a Surefire pressure switch, which fits perfectly with the knockoff one that came from my AliExpress M600 Lite. As far as upgrades, all I did was swap out the inner barrel and the hop-up unit. So now I've got a max hop-up unit, and I'm using some sort of, I think it's Unicorn Airsoft is the brand for the inner barrel, but it's a 6.03 inner barrel. It's a 363 millimeter length, so it runs right up to the, like right here, inside the outer barrel. Okay, let's move on to line 2. That's going to be our short-term sustainment gear. We're going to go back to the assault pack here. First off, I've got some gloves attached to the outside of the pack. They're an EXO brand, but I'm not sure what model these are. I would consider these like a mid-weight glove. They have a little bit of padding, and they have a leather palm, so they do retain some warmth. I have used these in the fall time before. I plan on these keep my hands plenty warm while we're out there and the temps start to drop. In the outermost pouch, I have a couple things. Number one, I have a blister kit. So in case I start to get, if I can feel blisters coming on my feet, I have some stuff in here ready to go. Number one, I have some, this is that stretchy athletic tape, I think it's called. I can wrap my toes or I can wrap a spot on my foot if I start to get any hot spots. I also have some bandages. These are the waterproof ones. I swear by these. These are the NextCare waterproof style bandages. The adhesive is by 3M. These things will not come off your feet. You can wear these in the freaking shower or go swimming with them. They will not come off your feet. Worst case scenario, if a blister does open up, I can bandage it and at least take some of that pressure off my feet and keep it from getting worse. For those situations where I'm able to catch a blister early on enough to where it doesn't burst, I have some pre-cut moleskin. Always a good idea to have pre-cut circles because you don't want to have any sharp edges on your moleskin. That will actually irritate your foot even more. I also have some individually wrapped or individually packaged dude wipes. If I need to clean my feet up before I change my socks, for example, I can do so. Next up, I have some extra packs of Skittles. A little bit of candy is always nice to have out there for some quick energy bursts, but also I've heard tips and tricks, like if you notice some of your teammates are starting to slow down and they're not looking like they're having a good time, you can throw them a pack of Skittles and they will light up and be super happy, and then they'll be back and, you know, their spirit goes up and they're happy again, which is always good for morale across the board. Last but not least, I have a little Ziploc of some hockey tape, more of that camo style Howie's hockey tape. You never know when you need to tape something up. Stuff likes to break. So having some tape is really handy for yourself or for a teammate who might need to borrow it. I have a lighter because you never know. I'm not a smoker by any means, but whether a teammate asks for a light or, I don't know, it gets really, really cold and we need to start a fire for whatever reason, it's just nice to be able to have that so no one goes hypothermic and no one dies. The last thing in this Ziploc is an inhaler because as for myself, I do have mild asthma, and it's more so caused by allergies. So if I'm having some sort of like allergic episode, I don't know, and I feel like my lungs are starting to close up, I can quickly hit that and I'm good to go. So that's it for that outermost exterior pouch on the front. I already told you about the night vision in here. In this side is where I'm keeping my G24 helmet mount plus the J-arm. I'm keeping that inside a fleece watch cap to protect the mounts, but also because I want to have a fleece watch cap. Like I said, it's going to get cold at night, so I want to make sure I have a way to keep my head nice and toasty. Let's see. In here, I have a couple more dude wipes because you never know. Nice to have that on your person. In the hydration pouch, I have my rain jacket. This is a Patagonia Torrent shell. It works very well. It's got a waterproof membrane, but it is pretty breathable. It also has pit zips, right? So that's nice for dumping heat and keeping yourself from overheating while you're out there. As I showed you, there's no rain in the forecast, but still, forecasts can change. As far as mods of what I did for this yoke pack, first of all, I added a grab handle on the top with some shot cord and some tape. And then I used some 550 cord to attach a male buckle. I'll show you here later, but I can attach this with this buckle to the outside of my actual backpack. I also added some little pads right here. These are just some extra plate carrier shoulder pads I had laying around, so I mollied these through, and now I've got some little shoulder pads. So that's it for the short-term sustainment. Let's go ahead and get into line 3, which is our long-term sustainment. And we're going to get this guy open here. My plan for this is I'm going to take everything out, and then I will go through items one by one as I put them back in, so you can also see how I'm packing this guy. Okay. So we got this backpack all emptied out. Let's go ahead and talk about, well, let's talk about the pack itself first. So this is by a brand called Bach, B-A-C-H. And this is the, I think it's called the Specialist 75 because it's a 75-liter pack. And the Specialist, it's called that because this is officially a trekking backpack. It's a backpacking backpack, but this is same thing. It's overbuilt, which means I feel comfortable using it for Milsim airsofting. This thing is made out of 1000 denier Cordura fabric, so it's very, very tough. Like I said, it's overbuilt, uses huge zippers. I feel comfortable using this thing for airsoft. Oh, let's take that out. There we go. Now it's all empty. It's an appropriate color. It's basically OD green. It's not a military backpack, but it's not going to break your immersions too badly. I like it. Strapped to the outside, I have a sleeping pad. This is a Thermarest Ridge Rest sleeping pad. It's the longer length variant, so I think it's like 6.5 feet long, maybe even 7 feet long. I forget the exact dimensions, but it's a little bit longer. It's a little bit wider. I'm 6'4", roughly 200 pounds, so I wanted to have the larger one so my feet don't hang off the edge, because that's how you get cold feet. I added these straps, by the way, myself. These are Evler stock, just lashing straps. There's lashing points all over the outside of the pack, like you can see right here. You got these little molly loops, so I just use those as attachment points, and I lash this thing to the outside of my pack myself. There is a bladder sleeve right here, but I'm not using it. I'll show you what I'm using it for. I'm using it to stow my backup airsoft gun. It's just an extra lower for the VFC Avalon I already have. I basically bought 2 of the same airsoft guns, so that way I could have this as an easier, more compact, lower receiver backup. So if the internals fail on my primary, I can just swap the upper receiver over to this lower receiver. I've already got a battery stowed in the back, ready to go, charged up. So I can do a quick hot swap if I need to, if my gun goes down. I'm stowing it in a dry bag. There we go. Fold that over once. Now we're good to go. No water's going to get to it. Into that hydration sleeve. Now it's separated from the rest of my stuff, so nothing's going to get snagged on it, and it's still easy access right at the top of the pack, so I can slip this out if I need to without taking stuff out of the backpack. Next up is my sleeping system. This is the USGI sleep system, MSS modular sleep system. It comes with this bivy sack, and it comes with 2 sleeping bags. So the bivy bag is a Gore-Tex outer shell for your sleeping bag. So it's waterproof, right? Keeps the water off of you when you're sleeping, so you stay nice and dry when you're inside this bag. Inside of it, I have just one of the 2 bags. I just have the intermediate cold bag in here. You can sleep with both bags, which I think it gets rated down to like negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can survive. It's not going to get that cold, so I'm only using the cold weather bag because it is going to drop down into the low 40s. It might even enter the high 30s if we're not so lucky. So I wanted to make sure I had this bag because this is a 0 degree rated bag. It is a little overkill, but you know what? I sometimes get cold at night, and I don't want to sleep with all of my layers on if I don't have to. What's really nice about this sleep system, by the way, if you're not familiar, it all opens up with just one zipper because it's all snapped together, as you can kind of see right here, right? There's one of the snaps. So it all snaps together, and then you only got to use one zipper to open and close this thing. Before I put that in, I have a little memory foam travel pillow, because I'll tell you what, as someone that forgot a pillow at an event previously, not having a pillow for your head sucks, and you don't sleep well. At least I did not sleep well at all that night. So now I don't go anywhere without some sort of travel pillow. And that makes a nice platform to put my bag on at the bottom. While I shove this in here, I'll tell you what I'm doing. The reason why this goes at the bottom. When you're packing a rucksack, you want to have your lightest, bulkiest stuff at the bottom, and then you want your heaviest stuff at the top, so that way it's resting on your shoulders. It makes it more manageable, to have your heaviest stuff at the top of the pack for that reason, so that way your shoulders are taking most of the weight. And then in the meantime, when you have your bulkiest light up the bottom, like your sleeping bag, it makes for a nice pillow when you go to drop this thing on the ground. You know, because it is heavy, so if you decide to just drop it off your shoulders right onto the ground, it kind of serves as some extra padding. Zip this up so I have a little bit more structure to shove into. I actually want to be a little bit taller. You kind of like puff this until you have it at the right height to put stuff on top of. So there we go. Now the top of my pack is up here. And this is where I can start putting my heavier stuff. I've got my extra clothes. So I have some grid fleece bottoms. It's a grid fleece material. I think this is by Condor. So I got those. I got my underwear that I'll be wearing on the first day. And then I got my underwear that I can change into for the last half of the event. I've got these really warm socks for nighttime when I'm sleeping to keep my feet warm. I got those Darn Tough Cool Max midweight socks. And then I have this grid fleece top. This is a U.S. Marine Corps Level 2 frog top grid fleece. It's a flame resistant material, but these are super comfortable. I absolutely love these tops. The reason why I want the USMC variant is because it has this nice kangaroo pouch in the middle. That's everything I'm putting in this dry bag. You might be wondering where the rest of my socks are. I do have more socks I'm bringing, don't worry. I have those in a separate Ziploc bag. That's going to go in a pouch on the outside of my backpack, so that way those are easy access. I don't have to open up my back, the whole rucksack, to get to a fresh pair of socks. Get the air out. Roll it a couple times. And boom. Now no water's going to get to that stuff. So I'm going to push that to the outside of the front of the pack. Once again, more so just to make room for the heavier stuff that I want to have even closer to my shoulders. So that way I can put 2 field stripped MREs. I've got the cheese tortellini, and then I have the Italian sausage, peppers, and onions and a marinara sauce meals. I've also got the sides. I got the heaters in here, and of course the spoons. Some of the other sides I'm not big fans of, so I'm just leaving those here at home. That bag full of like gum and coffee and sugar and creamer and salt, the little bar of soap, I took all that out because I don't need it. I want to save the weight, save the packaging too, because that stuff is very bulky. I'm laying those in that space I just created by shoving my dry bag to the front of the pack. I can lay these flat in here, which makes a nice little platform for probably the heaviest thing I'll have in here is my e-tool. I am bringing an e-tool, because it's nice to have a way to dig a hole if you gotta do your business, because I'm sure I'm gonna have to do my business outside at least once over the course of 40 hours. So that's pretty dirty, actually. Yeah, it's the Gerber e-tool folding shovel. Came with the nice OCP pouch, and it's like I said, it's the heaviest thing I'm carrying in the inside of the main compartment of the backpack, so that goes in last. All right, close this guy up. All right, I can cinch everything down, starting from the base. That's looking pretty good. Okay, we'll go over what I'm putting in the side compartments next. All right, in one of the side compartments, I'm putting my daytime socks, the Socks for Heroes socks. I put all three pairs in here. You know, I will take this out. Yeah, the Gold Bond friction defense. I really like this for, it's gonna sound gross, but you know, to prevent chafing in my groin area and in between my thighs. That stuff will kind of start to rub raw if you move like 12 miles, 15 miles, whatever we're gonna end up doing over this event. I want to make sure I can prevent chafing. And then I've got the Gold Bond foot powder, keep my feet nice and dry and cool. So it's its own Ziploc, because if you didn't know, this Gold Bond foot powder loves to sprinkle outside of its container. So I put that in a separate Ziploc to keep it off of my socks. All right, got that nice and compact. So this pack has some extra sleeves right here. Hopefully you can see that. Here, hold on. In case you can't see that, I'll get up here. All right. So this pack has two extra external sleeves that go all the way down here, and it's got some elastic inside of it. So first of all, I might have said this earlier, but RealSim does not issue your BBs. So you have to bring your own BBs. So I got a nice Ziploc full of some spare BBs. Yes, I'm bringing a speed loader. I've got that in there. I'll show you that later. But I know I'm not going to need these all the time because I've got a massive speed loader. So I'm keeping them easily accessible, but they're going to go in this pouch beneath my socks because I anticipate I will need to change my socks more than I will need to refill my speed loader. And then the other external pouch, this is my poncho shelter kit. This is this drawstring bag says Free Soldier. This was actually, this bag was originally for a tarp, but I've been using it for this instead because it's easier. So I'll show you what I got in here. First off, I've got some 550 cord. Yeah, get at me. I don't know how to do a Ranger bead, so this is what I do instead. I just lump it up and then I tape it up with some Velcro. But it works. I'll learn how to do a Ranger bead later. So I keep that at the bottom. I've got a ground sheet. This is by Light Fighter. It's made for their like one person tents. But yeah, it's like the perfect size to fit under your bivy bag and your sleeping pad. And then right here, I've got this all kind of tied up, but I've got a poncho shelter kit basically ready to go. I've already got all the 550 cord tied to the grommets on each of the four corners. I've got I got 2 tent stakes because those will be for the if you've seen a Ranger dubbing before, you basically take the 2 longest points and you tie those off between 2 trees. But then for the other 2 like shorter corners on your left and your right side, that's what I have these tent stakes for. So those are already tied up, ready to go too. So yeah, I can set up a Ranger diamond in like 2 minutes with everything staged like this. All right, and that just slides right into this other pocket. Boom. There we go. We're getting to the last part of this pack. We're going to talk about the top portion of this pack, or otherwise known as the brain of the pack. This actually has 3 compartments in it. Might as well start with the bottom. This is basically my toiletry bag. I have a lot of Ziploc, guys. They're easy to like squish the air out of, and it keeps everything waterproof, and you don't have to worry about your crap getting wet. So in here, we got a separate baggie to just keep it separated from everything else. This is basically my boo-boo kit. So I've got some antibiotic ointment. I've got some more of those waterproof Band-Aids by NextCare. I got a Ace bandage, some burn gel, some Benadryl, just in case. Yeah. Basic boo-boo kit stuff. I've also got more dude wipes, travel toothbrush and toothpaste. and some deodorant, because no one likes to keep watch and sit next to or sleep next to the guy that smells like absolute ass. But yeah, this is a good time to say the obligatory. It is really important, guys, to keep yourself clean when you're out there for 40 hours. Make sure that you're bringing stuff to keep yourself clean. You will not regret it. A couple more things I forgot I even had in here, guys. I've got some 100% DEET bug spray. This stuff is super potent. It comes in a nice travel size friendly bottle. I keep it in a Ziploc just in case it explodes on me. Yeah, this stuff is awesome. So if the bugs start biting, I have a way to keep those off of me. I've got some face camo. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to deal with it, but I might. I know how well it worked for me last time. It seriously made a difference. This combined with that Beast Combat Systems Predator helmet scrim. So yeah, I got some face camo. I got some chapstick because your lips will start to chap and crack, and that's not a good time. And then electrical tape. In the event that it does start to rain, I can quickly tape up the battery connector on my airsoft gun. So that's it for that underside compartment. Let's go to the front compartment. I've just got two things in here. Number one, I have a pill organizer container. Yeah, this thing's dummy proof, guys. Absolutely dummy proof. Got this on Amazon. It was like $5. Great purchase. I got Zyrtec because I have seasonal allergies, so I got Zyrtec in here. Tums, Pepto-Bismol, Tylenol, Excedrin, an anti-diarrheal in case it gets real bad for some reason. And then I also have some caffeine pills to keep me awake in case, you know, I'm going to get tired. So having some caffeine pills will be great. My backpack did come with a rain cover. It's still in the original packaging because I figured why take it out. If my hands get real cold at night, I am bringing some fleece Columbia gloves. Probably won't need them, but you know what? It's better to have them and not need them than it is to need them and not have them. All right. And here's the big compartment. First off, I got that spare eye pro. Some spare eye pro glasses in a hard case. This is not the hard case it came with. This is just something I had laying around, so I'm using it. I got some trash bags. Yeah, just the one trash bag, I think. Yep, just one trash bag. Shouldn't need more than one. Yeah, I don't know. Don't leave your trash laying around. That's not nice. And actually, at Milsim West, like if you try to like pack up and leave your fob without picking up your trash, they will tell you to go back and pick up your trash. And if you don't have a place to put it, that's going to suck because you're going to be putting your trash inside your backpack with all of your clean stuff, and that's not a good way to do it. So at least bring a trash bag. Just bring one. Here's my speed loader. It's an Odin speed loader. I got this thing filled to the max, ready to go. Like I showed you earlier, I've got the other BBs down here. I got a Ziploc full of batteries. So I've got a spare radio battery. I've got a spare power bank. This is a 10,000 milliamp, so it's not as big, which is why this one's in here. I've got the 15,000 milliamp one in the helmet right now. So I've also got some AA's, AAA's, and CR123As. So between all of my stuff, I have replacement batteries for all of my electronics. I told you that I put a piece of Lexan over the lens for my GoPro, and I even have a backup for that. So here, I'll show you. So the lens itself is a camera butter lens. My hands are shaky. Hopefully you can see that okay. I need to go eat something. But yeah, the camera butter lens is made out of Gorilla Corning glass. So that's already pretty durable. It has these little lips. So if you bump into a tree or something like that, that's going to take the brunt of the impact, not the glass. So that already offers extra protection too. And then I've got the piece of Lexan super glued right to the front of it. I actually used E6000 crafting glue, not super glue, because super glue will leave like that white film if you've never used it before to try to glue like glass or plastic. It leaves a hazy white film. It's called outgassing. So E6000 glue does not outgas, which is how I got a perfectly clear finish on that piece of Lexan. So I've got that in a little case that came with the camera butter lens. So there we go. Yeah, sorry if my hands are really shaky, guys. I can feel myself needing to eat. Okay, what else do I got in here? Snacks. More Skittles, some Cliff Bars, and then some of the MRE snacks, like smoked almonds are in here. I also have 2 liquid IVs. Yeah, these are the ones by Body Armor. I got them because they don't cost as much as liquid IVs. They're actually a few dollars cheaper, so I like that. Why not? Last but not least, I've got 4 separate hand warmers. There's 2 in each pack. I should not get cold at night because I'm bringing that intermediate cold weather bag, which is already kind of overkill. But just in case, whether I get cold or maybe a buddy gets cold, we can make sure that we are staying comfortable through the night and no one decides to go home early. That's the goal. I don't want my teammates to go home early. That's never a good time. All right, guys, so I got the brain pack already packed back up. But before I put it on top, I got to show you how I attach the assault pack first. Yeah, shout out to the Prepared Airman. That's where I got this idea from. I got to give credit where credit's due. What I saw him do is basically take a female buckle and attach it to your grab handle on your pack. So that's what I did here. Just took some tubular nylon, attached a female buckle I had. Like I said earlier, on my assault pack, I first made a grab handle for the top of this yoke pack, and then I attached the male buckle to it. And like this, now it's clipped on. To make sure that it stays secure and doesn't flop around, I took some other, some more female and male buckles and attached some shock cord to them. Well, I gotta loosen this up. There we go. Yeah, so I took some shock cord and I can, tighten this down or make it looser depending on how much stuff I have in the assault pack and how much stuff I have in the backpack. In this case, a lot, so I'm gonna loosen it like all the way. And yeah, there we go. I also did this on the bottom too, so I can wrap it around the bottom of the pack. There we go. Stretch that all the way over. Here's the female buckle. I'm struggling. There we go. There's the female. There's the male. Boom. All right. Well, it ain't perfect. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, but hey, it works. But yeah, now we can go ahead and put the brain on the pack. I'm going to flip this around because it wants to fall forward. Okay. Well, there you go, guys. That's everything that I'm bringing to Operation Hammer Forged. My dog says hi. Just a couple quick last-minute notes for you. Number 1, make sure you're hydrating before every event. It's super important. You can prevent cramps and just in general feeling like shit if you just drink water leading up to the event. We're talking like at least a few days beforehand. Ideally start hydrating a lot a week before. So that's what I've been doing. I've never had like bad cramps or anything like that at an event. So I 100% attribute it to probably just drinking enough water, honestly. Number 2 is I permethrin treated quite a bit of the gear you see here. I permethrin treated my backpack, the outside of my yoke pack, my bivy bag, and my pants and the cuffs on my ACU top sleeves. So if you don't know, permethrin is basically a mosquito and tick repellent, and it also kills mosquitoes and ticks if they land or just start crawling on anything you treated with permethrin. So because I'm going to the woods, I'm expecting there to be probably mosquitoes, probably some ticks. I know it's kind of late in the year, but still, I didn't want to take any chances. Up here in Michigan where I'm at, we still have lots of mosquitoes out every night, even though it's freezing. So I would expect it to be similar conditions down in Indiana where we're going. So yeah, that's all the last minute tips I had for you. Let's go ahead and throw this kit on and see how much it weighs. All right, I'll throw up some B-roll footage of me standing on the scale as I put stuff on. So starting off, I'm 216 pounds dry. And then when I throw on just the pack, that goes up 48 pounds. With the pack and the assault pack attached to it, that's 55 pounds. And then with everything, That's 68 pounds. That's with the airsoft gun, the helmet, and the chest rig included. So I'm going to be carrying quite a bit of stuff. We'll see how it goes. Go ahead and comment down below if you want an after action report, and I can share my thoughts on what worked, what didn't work, and we'll go from there. But I want to thank everybody for making it this far in the video. If you're still here, thank you very much for checking out everything I'm bringing to Operation Hammer Forged. And go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. I also make gameplay series. And yeah, appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. Peace.